The hum, a global mystery sound heard by thousands. Imagine lying in bed at night. The room is quiet. There are no cars outside, no machines running, just stillness. And yet, you hear it. A low, deep sound. Almost like an engine far away, a hum that never stops. You ask your partner, "Do you hear that?" They say no. You check the fridge, the air conditioner, the lights. Nothing is on, but the sound is still there. You're not alone. All around the world, people have reported hearing a strange humming sound. It doesn't come from the sky. It doesn't come from under the ground. Scientists have tried to find where it starts, but the truth is, no one really knows. This strange sound is called the hum. It has been heard in the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand, and many other countries. Most people hear it at night when the world is quiet. Some say it sounds like a truck engine. Others say it feels more like a vibration deep inside the body. Some even say it gives them headaches, makes them feel sick, or keeps them awake for hours. One of the most famous cases happened in a small town called Taos in New Mexico. In the early 1990s, people in Taos began reporting a weird low sound that they could not explain. It wasn't coming from any factory or power line. Some people heard it, others didn't, even when they stood in the same room. Experts came to the town, they brought equipment, they tested sound waves, they tried to record it. But no one could capture the sound. No microphone could pick it up. It was real to the people who heard it, but invisible to science. This has happened in other places too. In a town in England, people heard the hum so clearly that they had to move away. One man even filled his house with soundproof foam to try and block it. But the hum still found its way in. So what could it be? Some scientists believe it might come from machines, things like factories, trains, or ships far away. Sometimes sound can travel in strange ways, can bounce off hills, water, or clouds. Maybe the hum is just a sound that is hard to find but still real. But there's a problem with that idea. The hum has been heard in places where there are no big machines nearby. And sometimes people in the same area don't hear the same thing. One person may hear the hum every night, while their neighbour hears nothing at all. Others think the hum may come from inside the human body. Maybe it's something happening in the ears or the brain, a kind of mistake in the way we hear sound. But again, that doesn't explain why it only happens in certain places, or why it starts and stops without warning. There are also more strange ideas. Some people say the hum could be coming from deep in the earth, from moving rocks or secret tunnels. Others think it might be a sound from the ocean. Some say it could be linked to military experiments or hidden machines. And a few believe the hum might even be something not of this world. But no matter how many people study it, the hum remains a mystery. There is no single answer. No one knows for sure what causes it, or why only some people can hear it. It is a puzzle with no solution. And for those who hear it, the hum is not just a small problem. It can feel like a weight on the mind. Some people can't sleep, others feel nervous or tired all the time. Imagine living with a noise you can't escape, a sound no one else believes is real. That's what the hum is like for many people. Over time, some people learn to live with it. They use fans or soft music to block it out. Others wear special earplugs, but many still wait and hope that one day someone will find the true cause, that one day the hum will stop. Until then it continues, a low, strange sound heard by thousands, a sound that science still cannot fully explain, a sound that reminds us how much we still don't know about the world around us. So tonight, when you lie down to rest and the room is quiet, listen closely. Do you hear it? Maybe, just maybe, the hum has found you too. The Voynich Manuscript, the book no one can read. The night sky is full of stars. We look up at them and wonder what might be out there. Are we alone? Is someone trying to speak to us? For many years, people have searched the skies for a sign, a signal from beyond. And one night, something very strange happened. It came from deep space. It lasted only a short time, but what it left behind was a mystery that still has no answer. It was called the WOW signal. It happened at a quiet science center in the United States. A group of scientists were using a large radio dish to listen to sounds from space. The dish was huge. It pointed up toward the stars and listened for any signals that didn't sound like noise from Earth. The job was simple: let the machine listen and wait. Most days, there was nothing special, just the usual sounds, static, small signals, things that made no sense. But then something different came through. It was a strong signal, loud and clear. It stood out from all the rest. It didn't match anything the scientists had seen before. It didn't come from Earth. It wasn't from a plane, a satellite, or any known object. It was something new. The scientist who saw it was shocked. He circled it on the paper and wrote one word next to it. Wow! That one word gave the signal its name, and from that moment, it became one of the most famous space mysteries ever recorded. So what was it? The signal came from a very empty part of space, far away from stars or planets we know. It had the shape and size of a message. Not just a random sound, but something that seemed to follow a pattern. Something that felt like it had meaning. Some believed it could be a message from another world. A signal sent by beings far away, hoping someone would hear it. But no one could prove that. Others thought maybe it was just a strange sound made by space itself. Something natural like the light from stars or the movement of objects. But again, nothing matched. No known thing made a signal like that. The most puzzling part? It never happened again. For many nights after, scientists pointed their machines to the same place. They waited, they listened, they hoped, but the wow signal never came back. If it was a message, it was a one-time message. That made people wonder even more. What if it really was from someone else? What if they tried to speak to us, and we missed our chance? Still, no one gave up. The wow signal became a symbol, a reminder that space is full of things we do not understand. It made people more curious, more hopeful. If it happened once, maybe it can happen again. And people have tried to find out the truth. Many years later, some thought they found a reason. They believed the signal came from a comet passing through space. Maybe the sound was from gas or dust around the comet. But others disagreed. They said the comet didn't fit the signal. It was close, but not close enough. The shape was wrong, the timing was off. So once again, the mystery stayed open. Was it a message, a mistake, a sound from something we don't understand? No one knows for sure, but here's what makes it special. It was real, not a dream, not a story, a real signal, recorded by real people. It didn't come from Earth. It was different from anything else we've heard before or since. And for those who believe we are not alone, the wow signal gives hope. Hope that someone might be out there, watching, listening on them, maybe even waiting for us to reply. So now, when we look at the stars, we remember that night, that short moment, that single sound, and we ask the same question. Was it just noise, or was it a whisper from the stars? The Taos hum, the town that hears what doesn't exist. There is a small town in New Mexico, a place called Taos. It's quiet, peaceful, the kind of town where people go to relax. The sky is wide, the hills are open. The wind moves gently through the trees. But not everything is calm in Taos. For years, people in this town have reported hearing something very strange. A sound. A deep, low sound. A hum. It comes and goes. Some hear it during the day, others only hear it at night. It never seems to stop for long, but here's the strangest part. Most people can't hear it at all. One person might sit in their home and hear the hum, while their neighbor hears only silence. It doesn't come from machines. It doesn't come from cars or planes. People have tried to find the source, but no one ever has. The hum has become one of the biggest mysteries in Taos. It started many years ago. People began talking about a sound that kept them awake. Some thought it came from underground, others believed it came from the sky. Some even said it was coming from inside their own heads. It was hard to describe, not loud but strong, not sharp but deep, like the low sound of a faraway engine that never stops. As more people came forward, the story began to grow. The news picked it up. Scientists came to study it. They brought tools and machines. They looked for wires, power lines, and anything that might make a sound. They listened carefully. They used microphones and recorders. But the strange thing was this. Even with all their tools, they could not hear what the people were hearing. Some experts thought the hum might be in people's minds. Maybe it was stress. Maybe it was the ear reacting to something strange. Others believed it was a real sound, but one that only certain ears could pick up. No one could agree. There were even tests done on the people who said they heard the hum. Doctors checked their ears. They tested their hearing. They looked for patterns, maybe age, health, or where they lived. But no pattern was found. Some of the people who heard the hum said it made them feel sick. They felt pressure in their heads. They got headaches. They couldn't sleep. Some even said they had to move away from the town because they could not live with the sound anymore. And still, no answer. The town of Taos became famous for the hum. People from other places came to visit. Some hoped they could hear it too. Others just wanted to understand what was going on. Over time, stories began to grow. Some believed the hum came from deep underground, from secret tunnels or hidden machines. Others thought it was a sound made by nature, something old and powerful. A few believed it was part of a secret test, something being done without the knowledge of the people. And there were even those who said it was not from this world at all. But nothing has ever been proven. The hum still comes and goes. Some days it is stronger, some days it disappears. But for those who hear it, it is very real. It is not just a sound, it is something they live with, something they feel deep inside, and for the rest of us, it is a mystery. A sound that is not recorded, a sound that does not show up on machines, a sound that lives only in the ears of the ones who hear it. So what is the Taos hum? Is it a sound from the earth? Is it something from the body? A voice from the stars? Or is it something we are simply not meant to understand? In the end, no one knows. And that is what makes it so haunting. As you lie in bed tonight with your eyes closed and your world quiet, listen closely. In the silence, in the stillness, in the space between your thoughts, do you hear it? A low, soft hum. Maybe it's nothing, or maybe the mystery has found you too. The wow. Signal. A mysterious message from the stars. The night sky is full of stars. We look up at them and wonder what might be out there. Are we alone? Is someone trying to speak to us? For many years, people have searched the skies for a sign, a signal from beyond. And one night something very strange happened. It came from deep space. It lasted only a short time, but what it left behind was a mystery that still has no answer. It was called the wow signal. It happened at a quiet science center in the United States. A group of the scientists were using a large radio dish to listen to sounds from space. The dish was huge. It pointed up toward the stars and listened for any signals that didn't sound like noise from Earth. The job was simple. Let the machine listen and wait. Most days there was nothing special. Just the usual sounds, static, small signals, things that made no sense. But then something different came through. It was a strong signal, loud and clear. It stood out from all the rest. It didn't match anything the scientists had seen before. It didn't come from Earth. It wasn't from a plane, a satellite, or any known object. It was something new. The scientist who saw it was shocked. He circled it on the paper and wrote one word next to it, wow. That one word gave the signal its name, and from that moment it became one of the most famous space mysteries ever recorded. So what was it? The signal came from a very empty part of space, far away from stars or planets we know. It had the shape and size of a message, not just a random sound, but something that seemed to follow a pattern, something that felt like it had meaning. Some believed it could be a message from another world, a signal sent by beings far away, hoping someone would hear it. But no one could prove that. Others thought maybe it was just a strange sound made by space itself, something natural like the light from stars or the movement of objects. But again, nothing matched. No known thing made a signal like that. The most puzzling part? It never happened again. For many nights after, scientists pointed their machines to the same place. They waited, they listened, they hoped, but the wow signal never came back. If it was a message, it was a one-time message. That made people wonder even more. What if it really was from someone else? What if they tried to speak to us and we missed our chance? Still, no one gave up. The wow signal became a symbol, a reminder that space is full of things we do not understand. It made people more curious, more hopeful. If it happened once, maybe it can happen again, and people have tried to find out the truth. Many years later, some thought they found a reason. They believed the signal came from a comet passing through space. Maybe the sound was from gas or dust around the comet, but others disagreed. They said the comet didn't fit the signal. It was close, but not close enough. The shape was wrong, the timing was off, so once again, the mystery stayed open. Was it a message, a mistake, a sound from something we don't understand? No one knows for sure. But here is what makes it special. It was real. Not a dream, not a story, a real signal, recorded by the real people. It didn't come from Earth. It was different from anything else we've heard before or since. And for those who believe we are not alone, the wow signal gives hope. Hope that someone might be out there, watching, listening, maybe even waiting for us to reply. So now, when we look at the stars, we remember that night, that short moment, that single sound, and we ask the same question: was it just noise, or was it a whisper from the stars? Ball lightning, nature's electric. Phantom. Imagine a stormy night, the wind is loud, rain hits the ground hard, you see flashes of lightning across the sky. Then comes the thunder, loud, deep, and shaking the windows. But now, picture something else. In the middle of this storm, a round ball of light appears. It floats through the air like it has a mind of its own. It's not big, maybe the size of a fruit or a small bowl. It glows with strange colours: white, blue, orange, and it moves slowly, silently, even through windows, doors, and walls. Then just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanishes. Sometimes it fades. Sometimes it bursts with a loud pop. And sometimes it leaves behind a strange smell or even burn marks. This is not a story from a dream. This is something many people say they have seen. It is called ball lightning, one of nature's most mysterious events. Ball lightning is not like regular lightning. It doesn't strike down from the clouds. It doesn't follow the rules. It floats, it moves, and it appears in places it shouldn't. Inside houses, near planes, even on ships at sea. Some people have seen it move along power lines. Others have watched it roll across the floor of their living room. For hundreds of years, people have told stories about this strange glowing ball. Some called it a ghost light. Others thought it was magic. Even now, with all our science and knowledge, we still don't fully understand what ball lightning really is. There are many reports from around the world. Some are from farmers in open fields. Some are from pilots in the sky. Others are from people sitting quietly at home during a storm. One story tells of a ball of light that came through a window and floated gently down a hallway before vanishing. Another person said they saw one pass right through the wall without leaving a mark. And then there are the strange cases where people say the ball exploded, burning tables, melting metal, or leaving black spots on walls. But here's the hardest part. No one has ever caught it on camera clearly. No one has ever made it happen in a lab in a way that can be trusted. And because it comes without warning and leaves so fast, it is nearly impossible to study. Still, scientists have tried. Some believe ball lightning is a kind of fire made from gas and electricity. Others think it might be something from deep in the earth, an energy we don't fully understand. Some even believe it could be a kind of plasma, a state of matter like the sun, but trapped in a floating ball. There are also ideas that sound more strange. A few people think ball lightning could be from another dimension. Others believe it may not be natural at all. But with all the ideas, nothing has been proven. Ball lightning remains a mystery, and that makes it both scary and exciting. Think about it. A ball of glowing light moving through the air, acting like it's alive, showing up in quiet homes and loud storms, coming and going in moments, and science still doesn't have a clear answer. For the people who have seen it, the memory stays forever. Some feel fear, some feel wonder, some feel lucky, like they have witnessed something very rare. But many still ask the same question. What is it? Is it just a trick of the eye during a storm? Is it a rare kind of lightning we just don't see often? Or is it something deeper, something that shows us how little we really know about the world around us? Nature still holds secrets. Even now, in a time when we can fly across oceans, speak across the world, and send machines into space, a simple glowing ball of light can leave us confused. Maybe that's the beauty of it. Ball lightning reminds us that even in the middle of storms, when skies crack open and light fills the sky, something gentle and strange can float by, unnoticed by most, forgotten by many, but remembered forever by the few who see it. So the next time you hear thunder, and the sky lights up with flashes, look carefully. Maybe, just maybe, a ball of light will float into view, and if it does, you'll know what to call it, but you still won't know what it is. Déjà vu. A glitch in the mind or time itself. Have you ever walked into a place and felt like you had been there before? Maybe you were meeting someone for the first time, but something felt strangely familiar. Or maybe you were having a conversation, and suddenly you felt like you already knew every word that was about to be said. This feeling has a name. It's called déjà vu. That means already seen in another language. It's a strange moment. It doesn't last long, just a few seconds usually. But it can stop you in your tracks. It makes your mind pause. You think, have I lived this before? But you also know deep down that you haven't. It's like a dream and a memory mixed together. People all over the world have felt déjà vu. It doesn't matter where you're from, how old you are, or what you believe. Almost everyone has experienced it at least once. But here's the strange part. Even with all the science in the world, no one can fully explain what it is. Some say it's just the brain playing tricks. Others think it might be something much bigger, or maybe even a sign that time is not what we think it is. Let's explore both ideas. Some scientists believe déjà vu happens because of the brain. The brain is always working fast. It takes in sounds, sights, smells, and feelings all the time. Sometimes it makes a mistake. It may take a new moment and send it to the part of the brain that stores old memories. When that happens, your mind gets confused. It thinks, this has happened before, even though it hasn't. This is called a memory glitch, like when a computer skips or freezes for a second. It's not dangerous. It's not a sign of anything wrong, just a quick harmless slip in the way the brain works. That's one idea, but not the only one. Other people believe déjà vu is more than just a brain trick. Some think it is a peek into another timeline, a place where things happened in a slightly different way. In this idea, you are not just remembering something, you're crossing paths with another version of yourself, a version that already lived this moment in a different way, in a different world. Strange, yes, but for those who believe in many worlds, or many versions of time, this idea makes sense. Then there are those who think déjà vu is connected to dreams. Maybe you dreamed something long ago and forgot it. Then when that thing happens in real life, your brain pulls up the old dream, but you don't remember the dream itself, just the feeling. That might explain why déjà vu feels both familiar and mysterious. There are even stories from people who feel like déjà vu is a kind of message, a gentle nudge from the universe, a way of saying you are on the right path. Something about the moment is important, even if you don't know why. And then, of course, there are more spiritual ideas. Some believe déjà vu comes from a past life, a memory that doesn't belong to this body but to another life long ago. When something in the present matches that hidden memory, your soul remembers even if your mind does not. With all these ideas, one thing is clear. Déjà vu is not just a small moment. It is a doorway, a mystery that opens for a short time and then closes again, leaving you wondering. What makes it even more interesting is how it feels. Déjà vu doesn't scare most people. It surprises them. It makes them pause and sigh. It's as if the world around you gives you a wink, a quiet moment where time folds in on itself just for you, but no matter how many times we feel it, we still don't fully understand it. Is it a simple trick of the brain, a sign from beyond, a moment from another life, a glitch in time, or is it something else entirely and something we are not meant to understand? Maybe we'll never know, but maybe we don't need to. Because sometimes the best kind of mystery is the one that just makes us stop, feel, and wonder. So the next time you feel that strange little tug in your mind, that soft whisper that says, you've seen this before, don't worry. Just take a breath, smile, and let the mystery pass through you. The Nazca Lines. Messages meant for the sky. In the middle of a dry desert in Peru, there is a strange and quiet place. From the ground it looks empty, just sand, dust and rocks, nothing special. But if you could rise into the air and look down from above, you would see something truly amazing. Huge drawings made by people long ago, pictures of animals, birds, plants, people, shapes that twist and turn, straight sends that stretch for long miles, all carved into the earth. These are called the Nazca Lines. They are one of the world's greatest mysteries. The Nazca Lines were made many years ago by a group of people called the Nazca. No one knows exactly why they made them. What we do know is that the drawings are very large, too big to understand from the ground. Many can only be seen clearly from the sky. That is part of the mystery. Why would people who had no planes, no balloons, and no tall towers make such huge pictures, pictures they could never fully see? And how did they do it so perfectly? The drawings were made by moving the top layer of dark rocks and dirt to show the lighter soil underneath. This created clear shapes that have lasted for a very long time. The dry air and lack of rain help keep the lines from fading away. There are hundreds of these drawings. Some are simple lines, others are animals, a monkey with a curled tail, a hummingbird with wide wings, a spider, a whale, even a strange-looking person with big eyes, sometimes called the astronaut. All of these images are spread out across a wide area of desert, and they raise many questions. What do they mean? Were they part of a story, a map, a calendar, a gift to the gods, or were they something else? Some scientists believe the lines were used for water and farming. Maybe they were paths for walking during special events. Others think they were made for religious reasons, to be seen by spirits above. But there are also other ideas. Some believe the lines were meant to be seen by beings in the sky, not birds or clouds, but something else. Some people think the Nazca lines might be messages to visitors from far away, maybe even from other worlds. This idea is not proven, but it is one of the reasons the lines continue to capture the world's imagination. The mystery is not just how the lines were made, but why. Why spend so much time and effort to create pictures that only make sense from above? And how did they keep the shapes so perfect without being able to fully see them? Some experts believe the people used simple tools and ropes to plan the shapes. They may have drawn small versions on the ground, then used sticks and cords to make the images larger. Still, it would have taken a lot of planning, teamwork and care. And we must remember, these people had no modern machines, no drones, no satellites, just their hands, their eyes, and the stars above. Even today, new shapes are still being found. With the help of drones and new tools, more drawings have been discovered, hidden under the sand or worn down by time. Each new shape adds to the mystery. Why did the Nazca choose these animals? Why make lines that go straight across the land for long miles? Were they pointing to something, telling a story, sending a message? We may never know, and maybe that's what makes them so special. The Nazca lines are more than just art. They are a quiet voice from the past, a message carved into the earth by people who lived, dreamed, and reached for something beyond what we can see. They remind us that even in the dry desert, even with simple tools, human-owned hands can create something big, something lasting, something filled with wonder. So if you ever fly over the desert of Peru and you look down, remember what you're seeing. Not just lines in the dirt, but questions without answers, messages perhaps meant for the sky. The Tunguska event, an explosion without a crater. In a far corner of Siberia, deep in the forests of Russia, something strange happened long ago. There were no cameras, no phones, no internet, but the world changed in a single moment. It was early morning. The sky was clear, the forest was calm. Then, everything changed. A bright flash lit up the sky. A fireball flew overhead. The light was so strong, people said it was brighter than the sun. A few seconds later, a huge sound filled the air. It shook the ground, trees bent and snapped. The air grew hot. Some people were thrown to the ground, even though they were miles away. And then came the shockwave. It knocked over trees in every direction. Not just a few trees, and thousands of them flattened like sticks. The blast was so powerful it could be felt across the country. Even in places far away, windows broke and people felt the ground move. This strange moment is now called the Tunguska event. It is named after the river near where it happened, the Tunguska River. But here's the mystery. There was no crash, no hole in the ground, no pieces of rock or metal left behind. Just a giant space where the trees had all been knocked down. And a few trees in the center, still standing but burned. No one could understand it. At first, people thought it might have been a volcano, but there were no signs of lava or smoke. Others believed it was a bomb. But this happened long before those kinds of bombs were even made. Years passed before anyone could get close to the area. The land was wild, hard to travel through. And the world was changing fast. Wars, politics. It wasn't easier to send a team to look at the strange place. But finally, many years later, a group of scientists reached the area. What they saw was shocking. Trees were pushed down in a wide circle. Everything pointed away from the center. It was as if something huge had exploded in the sky, high above the ground. The trees at the center were still standing, but their branches were gone, burned by fire and heat. Still, no crater, no rock, no proof of what caused the blast. So what happened? The most common idea is this. A large space rock, maybe a comet or an asteroid, entered the Earth's air and exploded in the sky before it hit the ground. The blast was strong enough to flatten the forest for miles around. The heat of the explosion set fire to the trees. The sound shook the earth. But because the rock never hit the ground, there was no crater. This is called an airburst, when something explodes in the sky, not on the ground. It's a good theory, it explains a lot, but it still leaves some questions. Why has no one found any clear pieces of the rock? No metal, no dust, no solid proof? And what about the strange lights in the sky before the blast? Some people far away said they saw the sky glowing for nights before it happened. Could that be part of the story? Others have their own ideas. Some believe it was something man-made, a test machine or something secret. But no one had that kind of power back then. A few people have suggested that it was something from beyond this world. A craft maybe, or something we still don't understand, but no solid proof has ever been found. Just trees, silence, and stories. The Tunguska event remains one of the greatest unsolved events in modern history. It is the largest explosion caused by something from space in recent memory, and yet no one saw the object fall, and no one can find where it landed. Even today, scientists study the area. They use new tools, satellites, computers. They try to learn what really happened that morning in the sky. But the truth remains hidden in the trees, in a world where we think we know everything about stars, about rocks, about space. The Tunguska event reminds us that sometimes nature still holds secrets. So the next time you look up at the sky and see a light moving across the stars, remember the quiet forest in Siberia, remember the trees that fell, the sky that lit up, and the blast with no crater, and wonder, just for a moment, what really happened in the heart of that forest. Dark matter, the invisible weight of the universe. Look up at the night sky, you see stars, you see the moon, you see tiny points of light, far away and peaceful. It feels like you can see everything. But what if that isn't true? What if most of what's out there is hidden? That is the mystery of dark matter, something we cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot hear, but it seems to be everywhere. Let's take a deep breath and slowly walk through this strange puzzle. A long time ago, people believed the stars and planets were all there was in space. They looked through simple telescopes and mapped what they saw. It felt complete, but as science grew, new tools came along, big telescopes, fast computers, better math. And then something strange was noticed. Galaxies, those big groups of stars floating in space, were spinning much too fast. The stars on the outside of the galaxies were moving just as fast as the stars near the center. That wasn't supposed to happen. It was as if something unseen was pulling on them, holding everything together. Without this hidden force, the galaxies should fall apart. The stars should fly off into space. But they don't. They stay in place. Why? Something invisible must be there. Something with weight. Something strong enough to pull on stars and planets, but also something that gives off no light at all. That something was named dark matter. But what is dark matter really? No one knows. We can't see it because it doesn't shine or reflect any light. We can't touch it because it doesn't interact with the things we can feel. It passes through us, through Earth, through everything. And yet it's there. We see its effects. We see how it pulls on stars. We see how it bends light. We see how it shapes galaxies. Imagine this. You're walking through a forest at night. You don't see the wind, but you see the trees move. You don't see the air, but you feel it on your skin. Dark matter is like that. We don't see it, but we see what it does. Some scientists think dark matter may be made of tiny things, smaller than atoms, we haven't discovered yet. These tiny things would float through space, invisible, quiet and everywhere. Others wonder if maybe our idea of gravity is missing something. Maybe we don't understand how it truly works at great distances. Maybe it's not about dark matter at all, but about the rules of the universe being different than we thought. There are also big machines deep underground built to find these tiny particles. These labs are quiet, cold and filled with sensors waiting to catch just one sign of dark matter. But so far nothing clear has been found. Still, dark matter keeps showing up in the math, in the way stars move, in the shapes of galaxies, in the story of how the universe grew from nothing to everything. In fact, scientists now believe that dark matter makes up most of the universe. That's right. All the stars, planets, moons, and everything we can see, that's just a small part of what's really out there. The rest is hidden. It's strange to think about, isn't it? We walk around in a world we think we know, but we may be surrounded by something we don't understand at all. Something quiet, something dark, something that makes the universe work the way it does. Some people find that idea scary, but others find it beautiful, because it means there's still so much to learn. It means we haven't solved every puzzle yet, and maybe someday someone will make a new discovery, a small clue, a flash of light, a quiet signal that finally shows us what dark matter really is. Until then, it remains one of the biggest mysteries of space, a Traumtwurschmund, invisible web, holding the stars in place. So the next time you look up at the sky, remember that what you don't see might be even more important than what you do. The stars may shine, but the dark, the true deep dark, might just hold the key to everything. Sleep paralysis, demons or brain chemistry. You are lying in bed, the room is dark, quiet, you're slowly falling asleep. Then your eyes open. You're awake, but something is wrong. You try to move, but you can't. Your arms won't lift, your legs won't shift. You try to call out, but no sound comes. And then you feel it. Something is there, a heavy weight pressing on your chest, a shadow in the room, a dark shape standing near your bed, watching. You try to scream, but your mouth is frozen. You're trapped. This strange, scary moment is called sleep paralysis, and for many people around the world, it's one of the most terrifying things they ever feel. But what is it really? Is it a visit from something dark and otherworldly, or is it just something happening inside your mind? Let's begin with the feeling itself. Sleep paralysis happens when your mind wakes up, but your body does not. You become aware, but your body is still stuck in sleep mode. You're caught between two worlds, not fully asleep, but not fully awake either. In this moment, you can't move, you can't speak, you feel frozen. And sometimes people see things, some see dark figures, some feel pressure on their chest, some feel like they are being watched, some feel like something evil is in the room. Why? The truth is, we don't know everything about it, but we do know this: during deep sleep, your brain shuts off your body. This is normal. It keeps you from moving around while you dream. It's part of how your body protects itself, but sometimes your brain wakes up too soon. Your body is still in that frozen state. You're half dreaming, half awake, and that mix can create strange sights and feelings. Your brain is trying to understand what's going on, but because your body is frozen and your eyes are open, it creates images that feel real, even though they are not. In the past, people didn't know about brainwaves or sleep cycles. They only knew what they felt. So long ago, people told stories. In some places, they believed a demon sat on the chest of people during the night. In others, they believed ghosts, witches, or spirits were visiting them. These stories pass down through time, and even today some people believe in them, but science tells us something else. Sleep paralysis is more common than people think. It can happen to anyone. Some people feel it once in their life, others feel it often. It happens more when you are stressed, tired, or sleeping on your back. It can also happen if your sleep is not deep, or if you keep waking up during the night. The good news is, it's not dangerous. It doesn't hurt you. It doesn't mean something's wrong with your brain. It's just a mix-up in how your body and brain wake up. It feels scary, it feels real, but it's only your mind trying to make sense of being stuck. If you've ever felt sleep paralysis, you're not alone. Many people all over the world know this feeling. Some write about it, some paint pictures of it, some try to study it, and slowly we are learning more. We know that calming your mind before sleep can help. Breathing slow, keeping a good sleep schedule, sleeping on your side. These things can reduce how often it happens. And if it does happen again, try to remember. It will pass. You are safe. You are not really trapped. You are not in danger. You are simply caught in a small moment between sleep and wake, and that moment will end soon. Some people even learn how to turn sleep paralysis into something else. They use it to go into lucid dreams. They train their minds to wake gently. They learn to stay calm, breathe slow, and let the moment pass. What once felt like a nightmare becomes a door to something deeper. So, is sleep paralysis caused by demons, or is it just your brain trying to wake up the wrong way? The answer depends on what you believe. But science leans toward the second idea, that it's all in the mind. Still, on a quiet night in a dark room when your body is frozen and the shadows feel too close, even knowing the truth may not make it less strange. Sleep is a mystery, and sleep paralysis is one of its deepest, darkest corners. But remember, it's only a moment, and moments always pass. The bloop, A sound from the deep unknown. In the late 1990s, a strange sound was heard deep under the sea. It was loud, very loud. So loud, in fact, that it was picked up by microphones placed thousands of miles apart. These microphones were not made to hear normal ocean sounds. They were built to listen for submarines. But what they heard was something no one expected. It was not a whale. It was not a machine. It was not an earthquake. It was something else. A strange, low sound. A short rising noise, something deep and powerful. It lasted less than a minute. Then it was gone. Scientists gave it a name, the bloop. Why that name? Because that's how it sounded. A strange blooping noise, like something bubbling up from the deepest part of the ocean. But what made it? That's the mystery. Some thought it was an animal, but no known sea creature can make a sound that loud. Even the largest whales, the blue whales, don't make sounds that powerful. The bloop was far louder than anything nature usually makes underwater. And yet, it had a strange pattern. It did not sound like a machine or a rock breaking. It had rhythm, like the calls of animals. It didn't sound random. That made the mystery even deeper. Let's think about where it came from. The sound was recorded near the South Pacific, not far from a very empty part of the ocean. There is no big landmass nearby. No cities, no heavy ship traffic, just open water. And deep under that water is one of the least explored places on Earth. The ocean is still full of secrets. In fact, most of it has never been seen by humans. The deeper you go, the stranger life becomes. There are fish with no eyes, creatures that glow, animals that live in heat and pressure too strong for us. So could the bloop have come from something living down there? Maybe. But again, the sound was massive, much, much louder than anything alive we know about. To make that sound, a creature would have to be far larger than a blue whale. Some people began to wonder, what if something else lives in the deep? Something we've never seen, a giant creature hiding far below, only making a sound once, and then disappearing. Some even made up stories, that maybe it was a sea monster, a giant squid, or even something out of a legend, like the Kraken. Of course, these are just ideas. No proof, no pictures, just wonder. Scientists later gave another idea. They said maybe it was the sound of ice, large blocks of ice cracking and sliding off underwater mountains. These are called ice quakes. When ice moves and breaks in certain ways, it can make very loud sounds, loud enough to be heard far away. This answer makes sense to many. It fits the sound, it fits the location, and it doesn't need sea monsters to explain it. But not everyone agrees. Some still wonder, why only once? Why haven't we heard it again? Why did it sound so much like a living call? That's what keeps this mystery alive. The bloop happened only once. It has never been heard again. And that makes it different from ice sounds, which happen often. It also came from a place that is hard to explore, a part of the ocean we barely understand, so we can't go and look for clues. We can only guess, and that's what makes this mystery so strange. One short sound from the deep, heard by machines made for war, and never heard again. Was it nature? Was it a creature? Or was it something else entirely? No one knows for sure. The bloop reminds us that even today there are still places on Earth we don't fully understand, still sounds we can't explain, still questions without answers. Maybe someday someone will hear it again. Maybe we'll send better machines, maybe we'll go deeper than ever before, and maybe then we'll know what made that sound. But until that day, the bloop remains a mystery, a deep sound from the dark sea, a whisper from the unknown, something out there waiting. Stonehenge, a calendar, a ritual site, or something else? In the middle of a quiet field in England, there stands a circle of giant stones. Some are tall and straight, others lay across the top like bridges. This place is called Stonehenge. It has been there for a very long time, so long in fact that no one knows who first built it, or exactly why. But people have always wondered, why these stones? Why in a circle? And what was it used for? That's the mystery. Stonehenge is made of two kinds of stones. Some are huge and heavy, others are smaller but still too big for people to carry by hand. And yet, thousands of years ago, someone moved these stones from far away. They did not have machines, they did not have trucks. So how did they do it? Some think they rolled the stones on logs. Others say they used ropes and teams of strong people. Some stones may have come from places hundreds of miles away. It must have taken many years and many hands. But the bigger question is, why? Some people think Stonehenge was a kind of calendar. They say the way the stones are placed lines up with the sun. On the longest day of the year, the sun rises right over a special stone. It looks planned. It looks perfect. Maybe the builders were watching the sky, tracking time, or following the seasons. It would make sense. Back then, knowing the right time to plant or harvest crops was very important. But others think Stonehenge was more than just a calendar. Some believe it was a place of rituals, a place where people came together to pray, to sing, to remember the dead. Bones have been found near the stones. Some people may have been buried there. Maybe they were special people, leaders, healers, or priests. Or maybe it was a sacred place where families gathered during important times of the year. The truth is, no one really knows. There are many ideas, many guesses, but no clear answer. Even the shape of the stones makes people wonder. Why a circle? Why not a square or a line? Circles often mean unity, wholeness, life and death. Maybe the builders saw the world in a circular way. The seasons go in circles, the moon moves in circles, life goes in circles too. Birth, life, death, and birth again. Maybe the stones were a way to show that. Then again, some people think Stonehenge was a place of healing. The smaller stones, called blue stones, come from a place known for its healing waters. Maybe people came from far away to be healed at Stonehenge. Some believe these stones had a kind of power, a feeling, an energy. Even today, some people say they feel something strange when standing in the middle of the circle. But maybe that's just the power of mystery. Maybe it's the quiet, the size, the age. Maybe it's knowing that people just like us, but living thousands of years ago, stood on the same ground, looking at the same sky. They built something that lasted far beyond their own lives, something that still stands, still confuses, still amazes. Some even wonder if Stonehenge was not built just by people. They ask wild questions. Was it made by travelers from another world? Was it placed there by higher beings? These are big ideas. No one can prove them. But they show how deep the mystery goes, because when we don't know something, our minds try to fill in the gaps. We search for meaning. We ask questions. And Stonehenge gives us many. Why here? Why then? Why this shape? What did it all mean? Was it science? Was it faith? Or was it both? One thing is clear, Stonehenge was important. It took great effort, great planning, and great reason. It was not random. It was not simple. Whoever built it wanted it to last, and it has. Long after the builders are gone, long after their words are lost, the stones still stand, and we are still asking, was it a clock for the sky, a temple for the spirits, or something else entirely? Maybe one day we'll know. Or maybe the mystery is the point. Maybe that's what makes Stonehenge special. A silent circle of stone, speaking across time, waiting for us to listen. The Bermuda Triangle. Disappearances in the Devil's Playground. There is a place in the ocean where strange things happen. Ships disappear, planes vanish. People are never seen again. This place is called the Bermuda Triangle. Some call it the Devil's Triangle. Others call it the Devil's Playground. But no matter the name, the stories are the same. People go in, and sometimes they never come out. The Bermuda Triangle is not marked on any map, but most people say it sits between Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. That makes a triangle shape in the ocean. Many ships and planes travel through this area. Most of the time, everything is fine, but once in a while, something strange happens. A ship may vanish without calling for help. A plane may go off course and never land. No crash, no wreckage, nothing. Just silence. This mystery has puzzled people for many years. One of the most famous stories is about a group of planes that disappeared during a training flight. The pilots sounded confused. They said the sky looked wrong, the ocean didn't look normal. Then the radio went quiet. Search planes were sent to find them, but one of those planes disappeared too. Nothing was found, no bodies, no parts, just emptiness. Other stories tell of big ships going missing. Some of them were full of people, some were full of cargo, gone without a trace. So what is happening in the Bermuda Triangle? Some people think it has to do with weather. Storms can form quickly over the ocean. Huge waves and strong winds could sink a ship or knock a plane from the sky. But if that's true, why no warning? Why no signal? Why no wreckage? Other people think the cause may be deep under the sea. There are large pockets of gas under the ocean floor. If that gas rises to the surface, it could make the water bubble and lose strength. A ship floating above could sink without warning. That might explain a few cases, but not all of them. Then there are stranger ideas. Some say there may be a magnetic force in the Bermuda Triangle. a strange energy that affects compasses and tools. It could cause pilots and captains to lose their way. Others say the triangle might be a doorway, a portal to another place, maybe even another world. Could people be slipping through space and time? Could they be pulled into a place we can't see? There's no proof, but the idea is hard to ignore when the stories sound so impossible. And of course, some believe aliens are involved. They think beings from other planets are taking ships and planes, watching us, studying us. Again, there's no solid proof, but many people who saw strange lights or flying objects in that area believe it's possible. Not everyone believes in the mystery. Some scientists say the Bermuda Triangle is not as strange as people think. They say the number of missing ships and planes is not higher than in other busy parts of the ocean. They believe the mystery grew because of stories, news reports, and books. People hear the tales and start to believe something strange must be going on, but even if that's true, it does not explain everything. Too many cases have no answer. Too many people were never found. It's not just one story or one event, it's many, and each time the ocean stays quiet. No one really knows what the truth is. Is it the weather? Is it the sea? Is it something beyond our understanding? Maybe it's all just chance. Maybe it's a mix of many small things that create something big and scary. Or maybe it really is a place where the rules of nature break, where time and space twist, where things go in and never come back. What we do know is this: the Bermuda Triangle continues to pull in our minds. Even today, people are drawn to it, to study it, to fear it, or to try and understand it. But the ocean does not speak. It keeps its secrets. And the Bermuda Triangle remains one of the world's greatest mysteries. A wide open sea, a silent place, a name that sends a chill down the spine. Maybe one day we will know the truth. Or maybe, just maybe, the mystery is part of what keeps the story alive. The Antikythera mechanism, the ancient Greek computer. In the deep blue sea off the coast of an island in Greece, a group of sponge divers made a strange discovery over 100 years ago. They were looking for sea sponges, but instead they found something very old, something that would puzzle the world for many years. It was a box filled with broken pieces of metal and gears. It was found inside the wreck of an old ship. At first, people thought it was just junk, but when experts looked closely, they saw something amazing. This strange object was not just old metal. It was a machine that should not have existed in that time. Today, we call it the Antikythera mechanism. This ancient device is often called the world's first computer, and no one really knows how the Greeks made it. The Antikythera mechanism is made of bronze. It has many small gears, wheels, and dials. When you turn a handle, the gears move together. They show the position of the sun and the moon and even the planets. It could also show the date of important events, like the Olympic Games. Some experts say it could even predict eclipses, times when the sun or moon gets blocked in the sky. This level of knowledge was far ahead of its time. The machine is more than 2,000 years old. Back then, people didn't even have clocks with gears. Yet here was something that worked like a mix of a calendar, a star map, and a computer, all in one. So how did the ancient Greeks build it? No one really knows. We do know that Greek thinkers like Archimedes and Hipparchus studied the stars. They knew a lot about math and space. Maybe one of them helped design this machine. But the Antikythera mechanism is much more advanced than anything else from that time. In fact, nothing like it appeared again for over 1,000 years. That's what makes it so mysterious. When the machine was found, it was in pieces. It took scientists many years to figure out what it was. They used X-rays to look inside. They scanned the metal. They even made models to see how it might have worked. What they found was stunning. The gears were so well made, they looked like parts from a modern watch. Each gear had teeth that fit perfectly with the others. The people who built this machine had skills that no one thought existed in ancient times. Even now, we're still learning new things about it. Some experts think the mechanism may have been used by sailors or teachers. Others think it was used in temples to show the movement of the stars as part of religious life. But no one has found another one like it. No full design, no book of instructions, just this one broken device from a sunken ship. That raises even more questions. Was this the only one? Or were there more that have been lost to time? Could there be other ancient machines still waiting to be found? And how did knowledge like this disappear? Why did it take over 1,000 years for humans to build something similar again? It's hard to say. Some people believe the knowledge was passed down secretly, only to be lost in wars or fires. Others think the machine was built by a small group of smart people, and when they died, their ideas died with them. Whatever the truth is, the Antikythera mechanism reminds us that ancient people were not simple. They had great minds, great skills, and maybe secrets we still don't fully understand. Even today, scientists and engineers are amazed by the machine. They say it's as complex as a clock made in the Middle Ages, even though it was built long before that. And it changes how we see the past. It shows us that history is not always what we think it is. Maybe people in the past were more advanced than we give them credit for. Maybe they knew things we are just starting to understand again. The Antikythera mechanism is more than just an old machine. It's a window into the deep past, a reminder that humans have always looked to the sky, searching for meaning, patterns, and answers. And sometimes what we find at the bottom of the sea can change how we see the stars above. A computer from ancient Greece, a machine lost in time, and still a mystery that no one has fully solved. Animal migration. How do they know where to go? Have you ever seen birds flying in the sky in a big group, all going the same way? Or watched a nature show where animals move across wide lands or deep oceans? This is called animal migration, when animals travel from one place to another, often over very long distances. But here's the strange part. How do they know where to go? That's a question even science still can't fully answer. Every year, many animals leave their home and travel to another place. They do it to find food, to have babies, or to stay safe from cold weather. Then later, they come back. They do this again and again, like they're following a secret map in their minds. Let's talk about birds first. Some birds fly thousands of miles to reach warmer places. When the weather changes, they return. What's even more amazing is that young birds, who have never made the trip before, often fly in the right direction all on their own. No teacher, no guide, just an inner feeling that tells them where to go. How do they do this? Scientists believe birds use the sun and stars to find their way. They also might use Earth's magnetic field, an invisible force around the planet. Some birds even seem to use smell to guide them, but we still don't fully know how they can fly so far, with no map or GPS, and still reach the right place. But it's not just birds. Butterflies also make long trips. The monarch butterfly is one of the most famous. Every year it travels across a whole continent. Its wings are small and light, but it still flies thousands of miles. And just like the birds, new butterflies are born along the way, and somehow the journey continues, even though the new butterflies have never been there before. Whales do this too. Some swim from cold waters to warm waters to give birth. Then they go back again. Sea turtles do something even more strange. After years in the ocean, they return to the exact beach where they were born to lay their eggs. Sometimes it's the same spot where their mother came from long ago. How do they remember? How do they find their way through huge oceans? We don't fully know. Some people believe these animals feel changes in temperature, or use the sun's light. Others say they might feel tiny changes in the Earth's magnetic pull. But even with all our tools and machines, humans still can't copy what these animals do. Salmon are another mystery. These fish are born in rivers, but they travel to the open sea to live. Then, when it's time to lay eggs, they swim all the way back to the same river, even the same small stream where they were born. They swim against strong water and jump over rocks, and somehow they make it home. Why do they do it? And how do they remember the way? No one has a full answer yet. Some animals, like caribou or wildebeest, walk long distances across land. They move in huge groups, often across wide open spaces with no signs or roads. They do it every year, with no one leading. Yet they stay together, move in the same direction, and reach the same place. It's like there's a clock inside their bodies, and a compass in their minds. Some people believe these animals follow old paths from their ancestors. Others think they are following food or reacting to weather. But the deeper question remains, how do they all know when to go and where to stop? Even with modern science, we still can't explain everything. We can track animals using tiny tags and satellites. We can study their brains and behavior. But the full truth of how they do it, how they know where to go, is still a mystery. It makes us wonder, what do animals know that we don't? Maybe they feel things we can't feel. Maybe they see the world in a different way, a way that doesn't need maps, signs, or machines. Migration shows us how smart and strong animals are. It also shows us that nature has secrets we are still learning. Every year, these journeys happen again. Across sky, land, and sea, animals move with purpose. And as they do, they remind us how amazing life on Earth really is. So next time you see birds flying overhead, or hear about whales swimming across oceans, think about this. They're following a path no one taught them, a path they just know, and that in itself is a wonder we still can't explain. The Zodiac Killer, a serial killer who was never found. In the late 1960s, people in California were living their normal lives, going to work, seeing friends, and enjoying the sunny days. But then something terrifying began to happen. Someone started killing people. This person did not leave his name. Instead, he called himself the Zodiac. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most mysterious criminals in history. What makes this case so strange is not just the crimes, but how the killer played games with the public, police, and newspapers. And even after many years, no one knows for sure who he was. The first known attacks happened near quiet, peaceful areas. Couples sitting in their cars were attacked without warning. In each case, the killer left almost no evidence behind, but soon after, letters started to appear. These letters were sent to local newspapers. In the letters, the person claimed to be the killer. He gave details that only the Thier, police, and the killer could know. He also included strange symbols and secret codes. He said if the newspapers didn't print his letters on the front page, more people would die, and so the newspapers printed them. People were scared. The letters didn't just talk about the crimes, they also had puzzles, codes made from shapes, letters, and numbers. The killer said if someone solved the codes, they would learn his identity. Many people tried. Some of the codes were solved. One of them said that the killer liked killing people because it was fun, but the code did not reveal his name. Other codes were never solved. Even today, they remain a mystery. The Zodiac also used a strange symbol as his signature, a circle with a cross through it. He signed many of his letters this way. Sometimes he even gave the police account of how many people he said he had killed, but no one knows if the number was true. Over the years, the Zodiac claimed many victims, though the police can only prove a few. What made the case harder was how he changed his style. He didn't always attack the same way. He didn't always pick the same kind of people. This made it difficult for police to find patterns. There were also fake letters. Some people started writing their own letters and pretending to be the Zodiac. This added confusion. Police had to figure out which messages were real and which ones were not. Many suspects were looked at. Some seemed like good matches. They had the right age, the right background, even strange habits. But none could be proven to be the Zodiac. There was never enough evidence to make an arrest. In one case, a man named Arthur Lee Allen was seen as a strong suspect. He was known to have strange behavior, and some small things matched the killer's profile. But tests showed that his handwriting didn't match the Zodiac letters. DNA from stamps on the envelopes also didn't match, so he was never arrested. Years turned into decades. The case went cold, but the mystery stayed alive. Books were written, movies were made, people online started their own investigations. Everyone wanted to solve the case. Some even believed the Zodiac was still alive. Others thought he had died long ago. Then, many years later, one of the long unsolved codes was finally cracked by a group of people online. It took them a lot of time and computer help. The message didn't give the killer's name, but it confirmed he was still playing games, even from far away. This made people wonder, was he watching? Was he still alive? Or had he just written messages to be read long after he was gone? The truth is, no one knows. The Zodiac killer's identity remains unknown. And that is what makes this case so chilling. It's not just about the crimes. It's about the fear, the puzzles, the letters, and the fact that someone out there, somewhere, got away with it all. Even with today's modern science, DNA tools, and crime-solving machines, we still have no solid answer. The name, the face, and the reason behind it all, still a mystery. So as people sleep, this story still haunts minds. Somewhere out there, the truth may still exist, in an old box, in a hidden letter, or deep in someone's memory. Until then, the story of the Zodiac lives on, as one of the greatest mysteries science and police could never solve. Placebo effect, the mind's power to heal the body. Imagine going to a doctor, feeling sick, and getting a pill that looks just like any other medicine. You take it. After a while, you start to feel better. But then you find out the pill had no real medicine in it. It was just a sugar pill. nothing more, and yet you really did feel better. This strange and powerful thing is called the placebo effect. It shows how the mind can sometimes help the body heal, even when no real treatment is given. For years, scientists have studied this mystery, and even today, no one fully understands how it works. The word placebo comes from a Latin word that means, "I shall please." In the past, doctors used placebos when they didn't have real medicine, or when they believed the problem was more in the mind than the body. They hoped the patient would feel better just by thinking they were getting help, and often they did. One of the most interesting things about the placebo effect is that it doesn't just make people think they're better. In many cases, it causes real changes in the body. Pain goes away, heart rates slow down, people sleep better, wounds even heal faster. But how can a fake pill or even a fake treatment cause real results? That's the mystery. Most scientists believe it all starts with belief. When someone truly believes they are getting real help, their brain may send signals to the rest of the body. The brain may release chemicals like endorphins, natural painkillers made by the body, or dopamine, which makes people feel good and hopeful. These chemicals can affect how the body feels and reacts. Pain may seem lighter, stress may drop, sleep may come easier, all because the brain was tricked into believing that healing had begun. But here's where things get even stranger. The placebo effect doesn't just happen with pills. It can happen with fake surgeries, fake creams, or even fake machines. In some studies, patients who thought they were getting surgery but didn't felt just as good as those who really had it. In other studies, people who used fake pain creams felt the same relief as those who used real ones. Even more, the color and size of a pill can change how strong the placebo effect is. A red pill might feel stronger than a blue one. A big pill might feel more powerful than a small one. The brain builds a story around the treatment and the body follows along. But the placebo effect is not just about tricking people. It shows something deeper, how much the mind and body are connected. It proves that hope, trust, and belief are powerful forces. When people feel cared for, supported, and safe, their bodies may react in better ways. Doctors often see this in their patients. A calm, kind voice, a warm room, a gentle touch. These things can't cure disease, but they can help someone feel stronger, and that can lead to real healing. Of course, the placebo effect has limits. It cannot fix broken bones, remove cancer, or cure serious infections, but in many cases, especially with pain, stress, and sleep, it can make a big difference. It can give people comfort, peace, and even energy to keep going. Scientists still don't understand everything about how the placebo effect works. They're trying to find out what kinds of people respond best, how the brain changes during the effect, and if the power of belief can be used more in real treatments. Some even ask, is it wrong to use placebos if they help? In the past, doctors often gave placebos without telling patients, but today things are different. Trust between doctor and patient is very important. Some new studies are looking at open placebos, where people are told they are taking a fake pill and they still feel better. That's even more mysterious. The placebo effect also shows up in drug trials. Before a new medicine can be approved, it must work better than a placebo. That's because the power of belief is so strong, it must be ruled out to prove that a treatment really works. In many cases, even real drugs barely beat the placebo. So what does all this mean? It means the brain is more powerful than we think. It means belief and hope can lead to real change. And it means there are parts of healing that science still does not fully understand. When we think about medicine, we often picture pills and machines. But sometimes, the most powerful part of healing might be inside us, in the quiet hope that things can get better, and in the belief that help is on the way. The placebo effect may not be magic, but it is close, and it reminds us that even in the hardest times, the mind can still light a small path toward healing. The origin of consciousness. Where does you begin? Close your eyes for a moment. Think about yourself. You are here, reading this. You feel alive. You have thoughts, feelings, and memories. But have you ever asked, why do you feel this way? Where does your sense of you come from? This deep and strange question has puzzled people for a very long time. Scientists, writers, and thinkers have all tried to understand it. It is the mystery of consciousness, the feeling of being awake, aware, and alive. Consciousness is not just being able to talk or move, it is the voice inside your head. It is your thoughts when no one is around. It is the feeling of me, the part that knows you are a person, different from everyone else. But here's the big question. Where does it come from? Why are we not just machines? Why do we dream, wonder, and feel? Some people believe that consciousness lives in the brain. And yes, your brain is always working. It controls your heartbeat, breathing, and even your mood. It helps you make choices and remember things. Inside your brain are billions of tiny cells called neurons. These cells send signals to each other all the time like a lightning storm of thoughts. But even with all this, scientists still don't fully know how these tiny cells create something as big and strange as consciousness. A brain can move a hand, but how does it create a thought like, "What is love?" or "Who am I?" Others think that maybe consciousness is more than just the brain. Some say it could be a kind of energy. Some believe it could come from the soul or spirit. There are even people who ask if all things, even rocks or trees, might have some tiny form of awareness. These ideas are hard to test, but they remind us how big the mystery really is. There is also the idea that we are not born fully aware. Babies are alive, yes, but they do not have the same deep sense of self that adults do. Over time, as we grow and learn, we start to say me and I. We learn that we are not the same as others. So maybe consciousness builds slowly, like a tower made of blocks. Another strange part of this mystery is the idea of split brains. In some people with certain brain problems, doctors have had to separate the two sides of the brain. After this, something odd happens. It seems like one part of the brain does not know what the other part is doing. This shows that even in one person there can be more than one self. That is both amazing and a little scary. Dreams are another clue. When we dream, our bodies rest, but our minds are still alive. We see people, places, and things that feel real, even if they are not. Sometimes in dreams, we know we are dreaming. That is called lucid dreaming. In those moments, we are conscious inside the dream. But again, no one truly knows how or why this happens. Some people even wonder if consciousness is like a light switch and either on or off. Others believe it is more like a river, with many levels and depths. A person who is sleeping still has some awareness. Someone in deep meditation may feel even more awake than normal. So maybe consciousness comes in different shapes, not just one kind. And then comes the hardest question of all. Why are we even conscious in the first place? Why do we feel joy, sadness, or fear? Why do we care about stories, love, or death? A machine can do work, but it doesn't feel. So what is the point of feeling? Some scientists think it helps us survive. If we can feel pain, we avoid danger. If we love others, we stay together and protect each other. Consciousness might have helped humans grow stronger as a group, but that doesn't fully explain the rich world inside each of us, our dreams, our hopes, and the deep sense of being me. In the end, the origin of consciousness remains one of the biggest mysteries in the world. We still do not know where you begins, or why you even exists. But that doesn't stop us from asking, dreaming, and wondering. And maybe that's the most amazing part. Because to ask these questions at all means that you are aware. It means that something deep inside you is awake. And that quiet voice inside, the one that asks, "Who am I?" that might be the very heart of what it means to be alive. The Fermi Paradox. Where are all the aliens? Look up at the night sky. You'll see stars everywhere shining like tiny lights in the dark. Some of those stars have planets around them. And some of those planets could have water, air, and maybe even life. So if space is so big and full of planets, where is everybody? Why haven't we seen or heard from any aliens? This strange question is called the Fermi Paradox. It's named after a smart man named Enrico Fermi. One day, while talking with friends, he asked a very simple question. Where is everybody? He meant this. If there are so many stars and so much time has passed, then alien life should have had a chance to grow, build, and maybe even travel across the stars. So, why haven't we found them yet? The universe is huge. There are more stars in the sky than grains of sand on all the beaches on Earth. And many of those stars have planets. If only a small number of those planets had life, and only a few of those had smart life, we still should have found something by now. A signal, a visit, or a clue. But so far, sorry, nothing. We have big telescopes. We listen to space using radio waves. We send out signals saying, "Hello!" We even launch small golden records into space, with music and pictures, just in case someone out there finds them. But still, no answer. So where are the aliens? There are many ideas, some are simple, others are strange, and some are even a little scary. One idea is this: maybe we're the first. Maybe life is very rare. Earth could be the first place where smart life grew. Maybe the universe is still young, and it takes a long time for life to become smart and build things. Another idea is the opposite. Maybe aliens are everywhere, but they are too far away. Space is so big that even a signal could take hundreds or thousands of years to reach us. They might be out there, but we just haven't heard from them yet. There's also the idea that aliens don't want to talk to us. Maybe they are watching, but hiding. Like scientists watching animals in the wild, they don't want to scare us. Or maybe they think we are too simple, too young, or even too dangerous. Some people believe there is a kind of wall that stops life from growing. They call this the Great Filter. Maybe it's very hard for life to begin, or maybe it's hard for life to stay alive. Maybe smart life always ends itself with war or problems before it can explore space. That idea is scary, because it means we might not last long either. Another thought is that aliens are using tools we don't understand. Maybe they use strange ways to talk that we can't hear. Or maybe they live in places we haven't looked, like under the clouds of gas planets or deep inside stars. And here's a fun one. Maybe we're living in something like a computer game, and the people running it don't want to let us see aliens. That's more science fiction than science, but it shows how many ideas people have about this mystery. Some people even think the reason we haven't heard from aliens is because everybody's scared. Maybe when smart life sends out a signal, they are found by something bigger, and not in a good way. So all smart life stays quiet, okay, hiding in the dark, hoping they're not noticed. So what does all this mean? The Fermi paradox reminds us that even though we know so much, there is still so much we don't know. It's a big, silent sky out there, and we don't know if we're alone or if we're just one voice among many. But we keep looking. We build better tools. We send out signals, we search for small clues, like changes in light from stars or strange sounds in space. Maybe one day we'll hear something, or maybe we'll go out there ourselves and find out. Until then, the question remains, where are all the aliens? Maybe they're out there asking the same thing about us. Near-death experiences, what happens when we die? Imagine being so close to death that everything goes dark. Your heart stops. You stop breathing, but somehow you come back. And when you do, you remember something strange, a light, a tunnel, a feeling of floating. Maybe you saw your body from above. Maybe you saw loved ones. Maybe you felt peace. These strange events are called near-death experiences, or NDEs. Many people around the world have had them. No matter where they live, what they believe, or what language they speak, their stories often sound the same. But what is really happening? When someone's body is close to death, their brain is in danger. There may be no oxygen, no blood flow, and no heartbeat. Doctors might even say the person is gone. But sometimes the body can come back, with help or even on its own. And when it does, people sometimes remember something very powerful. Some say they floated above their bed and saw doctors working on them. Others say they moved through a dark tunnel toward a bright, warm light. They felt calm. Some say they met people who had passed away. Others say they saw a place that felt like heaven. These stories are often full of love, peace, and deep meaning. People who have near-death experiences say they no longer fear death. Many say they feel changed forever. But here's the big question. Are these visions real or just in the mind? Science has tried to explain it. Some doctors say near-death experiences are just the brain trying to protect itself. When the brain doesn't get enough oxygen, it can act in strange ways. It might create pictures, lights, or memories that feel real. Some say it's a dream made by a brain in crisis. Others think it's caused by chemicals in the body. When someone is dying, their body releases strong chemicals to ease pain and fear. These may make a person feel calm or even joyful. It could be the body's way of helping someone die peacefully. Some scientists say that the brain might still be active for a short time after the heart stops. So even if the person looks dead, the brain could still be working, creating images or sounds. But not everyone agrees with these ideas. Some near-death experiences happen when the brain is completely shut down. There's no heartbeat, no movement, no sign of brain activity, and yet, when the person comes back, they remember things, what the doctors said, what they looked like, and even things that happened in the room. How could that be possible? And here's something even stranger. People who are born blind have also had near-death experiences, and during these moments, they say they could see, maybe for the first time ever. They describe light, colour, and even people's faces. How can someone who never saw before suddenly see something? These questions make some people wonder. Maybe near-death experiences are more than just brain tricks. Maybe they are a look at something beyond this life. A place we go when our body is no longer working. Of course, not every near-death experience is peaceful. A small number of people describe fear, darkness, or being lost. But most stories are full of peace, love, and light. Some people see this as proof that there is something more after we die. Others think it's just the way the brain handles the end. No one knows for sure. That's what makes it such a deep and powerful mystery. What we do know is this: near-death experiences change people. They often live differently afterward. They feel more thankful. They treat others with more kindness. They worry less about money or things. They care more about love, meaning, and time. Whether it's real or not, it seems to wake something up inside them. So, what happens when we die? Is it just darkness? Or is there something more, something warm, bright, and full of peace? Near-death experiences don't give us all the answers, but they do give us something to wonder about. They remind us that life is full of mystery, that maybe, just maybe, the end is not really the end, and maybe when the time comes, we'll find out for ourselves. The Dancing Plague of 1518, when hundreds danced themselves to death. It sounds like a strange story from a movie. A woman walks into the street, music is not playing, no one is celebrating, but she starts to dance, and she does not stop. Soon others join her. More and more people begin to move, they swing their arms, they move their feet, and they spin in circles. But this is not a party. They are not smiling, they look like they want to stop, but they can't. This happened a long time ago in the city of Strasbourg. Back then it was part of the Holy Roman Empire. Today it is in the country of France. The year was 1518. It all began with one woman. Her name may have been Frau Trophäa. She started dancing in the street for no clear reason. She danced all day and all night. She looked tired, but she kept going. People watched her in shock. Some laughed at first. Others were afraid. Then the days went by and more people joined her. 10, 20, 50, some stories say even more than that. The people danced in the heat. They danced until their feet bled. Some cried while dancing, some begged for help, but still they did not stop. Doctors and leaders at the time were confused. They did not know what was happening. They thought maybe the people were sick from the heat or from too much blood in their bodies. Their answer? They told the people to keep dancing. They believed the dancers just needed to dance the sickness out of their bodies. So they brought in musicians. They built a stage. They even made more space in the town square for dancing. But this only made things worse. The people danced harder. Some fell to the ground. Some died from heart failure or pure exhaustion. It was no longer just strange. It was dangerous. This strange event lasted for weeks. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The dancers either collapsed or slowly walked away. And after that, life in the city returned to normal. But the question still remains. Why did it happen at all? Even today, no one knows for sure. But there are many theories. One idea is that the dancers were sick with a kind of food poisoning. In old times, bread was made from rye. Sometimes the rye would grow a type of mold called ergot. This mold can cause strange dreams, shaking, and even feelings of movement, almost like being on a drug. Some experts think the people were affected by this, but if that's true, why did they all move in rhythm? Why did they dance and not just shake or fall? Another idea is that it was caused by stress. At the time, life was very hard. People were poor. There were many diseases. There was hunger, war, and fear. Some believe the people of Strasbourg were under so much stress that they lost control. Their minds may have caused their bodies to dance. This is called mass hysteria. When a group of people share a strong fear, and it shows through strange actions. It may have also been linked to religion. People back then were deeply religious. Some believed that dancing without stopping was a way to show pain or guilt. Others believed it was a punishment from a saint. They thought the only way to stop was to keep dancing and hope for forgiveness. Even now, historians argue about what truly happened. There are no videos, no photos, just old letters and town records. Still, those records are strong enough to show that something very real and very strange took place. The Dancing Plague remains one of the most puzzling events in history. It was not the only one either. There were other dance outbreaks in Europe during earlier times, though none were quite as large or deadly. So what can we learn from this? The story of the dancing plague shows us how powerful the human mind can be. When people are afraid or under deep stress, strange things can happen. Our brains and our bodies are deeply connected. Sometimes our minds can make us do things we don't understand. It also shows how much we still don't know. Even with all the tools of science today, some stories from history remain a mystery. The dancing plague of 1518 is one of them. No one really knows why those people danced, or why they could not stop. But their story lives on, as a warning, as a mystery, and as a strange moment when fear, faith, and the human body all came together in one strange, deadly dance. Why we dream, random signals or deep meanings. Every night when we fall asleep, something strange happens inside our minds. Our bodies rest, our eyes stay closed. The world outside grows quiet. But inside the brain, a new world begins. This is the world of dreams. Sometimes dreams are peaceful, sometimes they are scary. We may fly through the sky, talk to people who are gone, or visit places we've never seen before. And when we wake up, we may ask ourselves, why did I dream that? Dreams have been with us since the beginning of time. People from ancient days thought dreams were messages from the gods. Others believed they were signs of the future. In some stories, dreams were even seen as journeys of the soul. But now, with science and research, we ask new questions. What causes dreams, and do they have any real meaning? Scientists know that dreams mostly happen during a part of sleep called REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement. During this time, our brains are very active, almost as if we are awake. Our bodies stay still, but our minds are busy, full of images, sounds, and stories. This is when most dreaming happens. But even with all the research, science still does not fully understand dreams. There are many ideas, but no clear answers. One idea is that dreams are just random. Our brains keep working while we sleep. They send out signals, and our minds try to make sense of them. This is why dreams often feel strange. One moment we are in our home, the next we are in a forest, talking to a bird. The brain grabs pieces of memory, feeling, and thought and mixes them together. If this is true, dreams are like static on a radio, just noise without real meaning. They might not tell us anything about our lives or thoughts, they are simply the result of a busy brain. But many people believe the opposite. They think dreams come from deep inside us, that each dream means something. Maybe our minds are trying to send us a message while we rest, a message about our fears, our hopes, or things we have not yet faced. This is where dream interpretation comes in. For example, if someone dreams they're falling, some say it means they feel out of control. If they dream about being chased, it might mean they are trying to avoid a problem in real life. These are just ideas, not facts, but people find comfort in searching for meaning in dreams. Famous thinkers like Sigmund Freud believed that dreams were windows to the hidden parts of the mind. He said, dreams show our true thoughts, the ones we hide during the day. Another thinker, Carl Jung, believed that dreams connected us to something larger, a shared human story that all people carry. Still others look at dreams in a more practical way. They think dreams help us learn. When we sleep, the brain may be sorting memories, solving problems, or practicing for a real life. For example, if someone is learning to play the piano, they might dream about music. If someone is worried about a test, they might dream about school. The brain could be using dreams to prepare. There is also something called lucid dreaming. This is when a person knows they are dreaming while still inside the dream. In some cases, they can even control the dream. They can fly, visit places, or meet people, all with their own choices. Some people practice lucid dreaming to explore their minds or to help with fears and bad memories. But dreams are not always kind. Some people face nightmares, bad dreams that feel real. These can be caused by fear, stress, or past pain. Nightmares can make sleep scary. They may cause a person to wake up in fear, sweating or shaking. In this way, dreams can affect our bodies too. Even with all these ideas, the truth is this: we still do not know exactly why we dream. It may be random, it may have meaning, or it may be a mix of both. But one thing is clear: dreams are a part of who we are. They come without warning. They show us new worlds, and sometimes they even help us feel, think, or heal. Some dreams are forgotten the moment we wake up. Others stay with us for years. They may inspire art, music, or even big decisions. They may confuse us, scare us, or bring us peace. So the next time you close your eyes, and your mind takes you to a strange and quiet place, ask yourself, is it just noise, or is it trying to tell you something? Because the world of dreams is still full of mystery, and maybe deep down part of us still believes that dreams mean more than we know. The Marfa Lights, Texas's floating spheres. In the wide open lands of Texas, there is a small town called Marfa. It looks quiet and simple during the day, but at night, something strange begins to happen. Small glowing balls of light appear in the sky. They float, they move, and then they vanish. No one knows for sure what they are. These lights are called the Marfa Lights. People have seen these lights for a long time. The first known report came from a cowboy in the old days. He saw strange lights on the horizon while riding near Marfa. At first, he thought they were campfires or people walking with lanterns, but the lights moved in ways that made no sense. They floated above the ground, danced around each other, and disappeared without a sound. Many others have seen the lights since then. Locals and travelers all report the same thing. Bright orbs, often white, yellow, red, or blue. They shine in the dark and seem to float above the desert. Sometimes they split into two or more lights. Sometimes they join back together, some move fast, others just sit still in the air. The Marfa Lights appear most often near a flat area known as the Mitchell Flat. There is even a special viewing area along the road where people go to watch the sky. Some wait for hours, hoping to catch a glimpse of the strange glowing balls. Many take pictures or videos, but even with all this, the mystery remains. So what are these lights? Some believe the lights are just car headlights. The highway near Marfa is long and open. People think the light from cars far away can shine through the night air, creating the effect. Heat, air pressure, and distance can all make lights look strange. They can bounce and bend, making it hard to tell where the light is really coming from. But this idea does not explain everything. People saw the lights before there were any cars or roads in that area. Others say it might be lights from camps, houses, or machines. But again, the lights move in strange ways. They float high above the land and do not make any noise. Another idea is that the Marfa Lights are a trick of the air. In deserts, the air changes quickly from hot to cold. These changes can bend light, just like a spoon looks bent in a glass of water. This could make faraway lights appear to move, grow, or split. It is a simple answer, but not everyone agrees. Some believe the lights are natural, but not man-made. They think the lights could be a type of glowing gas. In some places, gases from underground come up to the surface. When they mix with the air, they may glow or even catch fire. This has been seen in other parts of the world. Still, there is no proof that this happens in Marfa. Then there are people who believe the lights are something else, something beyond science. Some say they are ghost lights, the spirits of people long gone. Others believe they are signs from another world. They think the lights are not from Earth at all, but from the sky, maybe even from beings we do not understand. These ideas are hard to test, but many people believe them. The mystery of the Marfa Lights brings visitors from all over. Some come with tools and cameras, some come with open minds and questions. All come looking for answers, but they often leave with more wonder than before. The town of Marfa has grown around the mystery. Stores sell souvenirs, people share stories, and the lights are a part of life there. They are more than just lights in the sky. They are a piece of local history, something that makes the town special. Even scientists have studied the Marfa Lights. Some groups have used tools to track and measure the lights. They try to match the times the lights appear with traffic, weather, or other data. Some say their findings point to simple answers, like cars or weather effects. Others say there is still something strange that science cannot yet explain. In the end, the Marfa Lights remain a mystery. They are not always there. They do not follow rules. They do not act the same every time. And maybe that's why people love them. In a world full of answers, the lights remind us that some things are still unknown. So if you ever find yourself in West Texas, far from the bright lights of cities, take a trip to Marfa. Stand under the open sky, look to the horizon. Maybe you'll see them. The floating spheres that have puzzled people for years. Quiet, glowing and free. The Marfa Lights. The wow signal. Was it a hello from space? One night long ago, a man named Jerry was looking at signals from the sky. He worked with a large radio telescope in Ohio. This machine listened for sounds from space, not like the sounds we hear with our ears, but signals like radio waves. On that night, he saw something strange. The signal was very strong. It was loud, clear, and lasted a short time. It came from space far away, and then it was gone. Jerry was shocked. He wrote the word wow next to it on the paper. That is why we now call it the wow signal. The wow signal only happened once. It has never been heard again. It was strong but short, and it came from a place in the sky where there are no stars or planets close by. That made it even more strange. Many people believe this signal might have come from someone, or something, trying to talk to us. Maybe not from Earth, maybe from another world. That's what makes the wow signal so special. It might be the first time we ever got a hello from space, but let's go back. What was the wow signal exactly? It was a radio signal like the kind used in radios and phones. But this one came from deep space. It lasted for just over a minute. Then it stopped. It was never repeated. The place where the signal came from is in a part of the sky near the stars Sagittarius and Capricorn. But when people looked at that area, they found nothing strange. No stars close by, no planets, nothing that could easily explain the signal. Some people said it could have been a signal from Earth that bounced off space junk or a satellite. But the people who study space signals said no. This one did not act like normal Earth signals. It looked like something truly different. Many scientists hoped they would hear it again. They pointed other radio telescopes at the same spot in the sky. They listened for days, weeks, and even years, but the signal never came back. This is what makes the wow signal so mysterious. It came, it was strong, and it never returned. Was it a message from another world? Could it have been made by smart life far away? No one can say for sure. Some believe it was just a random thing, like a sound made by space or some strange wave. Others think it might be proof that we are not alone in the universe. Some groups, like SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, spend years listening to space. They use big dishes to pick up radio waves from the stars. Their hope is to one day hear a signal that means, we are here. The wow signal is the closest we've ever come to that. But without hearing it again, we can't know for sure. In science, to prove something is real, it must be repeated. Since the wow signal never happened again, it remains a mystery. Over the years, many people have tried to find answers. Some tried to explain it as a secret signal from a satellite. Some said it was just a glitch in the machine. But none of those ideas fit perfectly. What we do know is this. The signal was real. It was strong. It came from space. And it was not like anything we had heard before. That's why it still matters. It makes people ask big question. Are we alone? Is someone out there trying to talk to us? Did they try once and give up? Or will they try again? The wow signal reminds us that space is full of unknown things. We have not seen or heard all there is to know. There may be messages flying through space right now waiting to be heard. Some people believe that one day we will hear a signal again. Maybe not soon, but someday. Others think the wow signal was a one-time chance. A brief whisper from far away that we will never hear again. Either way, it changed how we think about space. It gave hope to those looking for life beyond Earth. It gave mystery to the stars. Even now, people still look up at the sky and wonder. Somewhere far across space, could someone else be listening too? Maybe, just maybe, they're waiting for us to say wow again. Spontaneous human combustion. People going up in flames. Imagine this. A person is sitting in a chair reading a book or watching TV. Suddenly, without warning, they catch fire. But no one else is near them. There are no matches, no fire source, nothing around is burning, just their body burning from the inside out. This strange and scary idea is called spontaneous human combustion. Some people believe it is real, others say it is just a story. But over the years, there have been many cases that make people wonder, is it possible for a human body to catch fire on its own? In many of these cases, the person is found burned to ashes. The room they were in has little damage. Often only the chair or the area right around them is burned. The rest of the house is fine. Even the stranger, the hands and feet are sometimes left untouched, while the middle part of the body is completely gone. This is not how normal fires behave. Fires spread, fires burn, everything near them. But in these stories, the farce movie seems to focus only on the person. This is why people call it spontaneous. It seems to happen by itself. One of the most famous stories is about an old woman who lived alone. One day, people found her chair burned, and only parts of her body remained. The rest had turned to ash, but nothing else in the room was damaged. Not the furniture, not the walls, only her body had burned. That case and others like it shocked many people. How can a body burn like that without burning the whole room? Scientists say a human body is mostly water. It should not be easy to catch fire, especially not without help. So how do some people explain this? One idea is something called the wick effect. This means the body burns like a candle. A candle has wax and a wick. The wick starts the fire, and the wax keeps it burning. In the same way, some say clothes or fat in the body can act like the wax. Once the fire starts, the body keeps burning slowly. But that still doesn't explain how the fire starts in the first place. If no one lights a match, how can a fire begin? Some people believe that chemicals inside the body could somehow start a fire, maybe from a buildup of gas, or a spark from static electricity. Others think it could be from something deeper, energy we don't fully understand, or a reaction in the body that has not yet been proven. Then there are people who believe in strange forces. They say it could be caused by the mind, strong emotions, or unknown energy in the body. These ideas are not accepted by science, but they continue to be shared. Skeptics have another view. They say the cases of spontaneous human combustion can all be explained. They believe there was always a fire source, like a cigarette, a candle, or a spark, that people missed. They also think that slow-burning fires, over many aspirins and hours, can explain why only part of a room burns and not the whole thing. But even with these ideas, many cases still feel strange. Why do some people burn so completely, while their homes stay mostly safe? Why are some of these fires so hot, yet so quiet? Some doctors and scientists continue to look into it, but the truth is, no one has ever seen spontaneous human combustion happen with their own eyes. It has only been seen after the fact, when someone is already gone. So is it real, or is it just a mystery we haven't solved yet? Maybe it's both. Maybe one day science will find a simple answer, or maybe it will stay one of the strangest puzzles about the human body. Until then, the idea of spontaneous human combustion continues to scare and fascinate people. It reminds us that the human body, for all we know about it, still holds many secrets. So next time you feel a warm spark in your body, don't worry, it's likely nothing. But the mystery of people catching fire with no reason, that story still burns in the minds of many. The Green Children of Woolpit, lost from another world. A long time ago, in a small village in England called Woolpit, something strange happened. It was a quiet place, full of farms and fields. People there lived simple lives, but one day, the villagers saw something they had never seen before. 2 children standing near a hole in the ground. The children were not like any others. Their clothes were different. They spoke in a strange language that no one understood. But the thing that surprised people the most was their skin. It was green. Yes, green. The boy and girl were both small and thin. Their faces looked tired, and they seemed scared. The villagers didn't know what to do. They brought the children food, but the children would not eat anything. Days passed. The only food they would touch were green beans or peas, nothing else. Over time, the boy became very sick. He got weaker and weaker until sadly he passed away. But the girl grew stronger. Slowly her green colour started to fade. After some time, her skin became more like normal human skin. As she learned the local language, the villagers began to ask her questions. Where had she come from? Why was her skin green? What happened to her brother? She told them a strange story. She said they came from a place called St. Martin's Land. In that land, the sun never shined bright. It was always a kind of soft light, like dawn or dusk. Everything there had a green glow. The people there were all green, just like she had been. She said that one day she and her brother had been watching their animals when they heard a loud sound. They followed the sound into a cave. They walked for a long time through the dark. When they finally came out the other side, they were in Woolpit. She said they were confused and scared. They did not know how to go back. They did not know where they were, and they could not speak the language of the people. This story shocked the villagers. Many people didn't know what to think. Were the children from a faraway land, from deep underground, or from another world? Over the years, people have come up with many ideas. Some say the children came from a hidden place under the earth, where the light was different and the people had green skin because of something in the air or food. Others say the green skin was from sickness or poor food. Maybe they had been lost for a long time and had eaten only plants that changed their skin colour. When the girl began eating normal food again, her colour went back to normal. There are also people who believe the story has a deeper meaning. Some say the children were not human at all. They think the children were from another world, maybe even from another planet. It's hard to say what is true. The story is very old. It was written down many years after it happened. Details may have been added, changed, or lost over time. Still, the story of the green children of Woolpit has never been forgotten. People still visit the village. They still talk about the mystery. Books have been written. Songs have been sung. Some see it as a fairy tale. Others believe it might be based on a real event. The girl, once grown, stayed in England. She lived a normal life, but the memory of her strange arrival stayed with the village forever. Why was her skin green? Where did she really come from? What happened to the land she spoke of? No one knows for sure, but the green children left behind more than just questions. They gave the world a mystery that still feels fresh even after hundreds of years. So when someone says, "We've seen it all," you can remind them of the day two green children walked out of a hole in the earth and changed everything. The Great Statements. Why the universe refuses to answer. We look up at the night sky and see stars shining like tiny lights. We know there are more stars than we can count. Around many of those stars are planets, just like Earth. Some are small, some are big, some are hot, some are cold, but some may be just right for life. So here is the big question. If there are so many stars and planets, where is everyone? Why is it so quiet? This is what scientists call the Great Silence. It is the strange quiet in space. We expect to hear something, a message, a signal, a sign from other life. But so far, nothing has come. We have been listening for a long time. Big radio dishes on Earth search for strange signals from the sky. But all we hear is silence, just quiet space noise, like wind with no voice behind it. Many people have tried to answer this puzzle. Some say maybe we are alone. Maybe life on Earth is very rare. Maybe the mix of things that made life here is so special it almost never happens anywhere else. Others believe life could be common, but smart life is not. Life may start in many places, but it may not grow into big brains, cities, or space machines. It may just stay simple, like bugs or plants. Another idea is that smart life is out there, but it destroys itself. Maybe when a group becomes too smart, it creates weapons or machines that wipe it out. So they are gone before they ever send a signal. Some people think smart aliens might be watching us, but staying quiet, like people in the woods watching animals without making a sound. They might wait to see what we do. Maybe they do not want to scare us. Maybe they follow rules, like a space law, and not to speak to new worlds. There is also the thought that aliens have tried to reach us, but we missed it. Maybe they sent a message long ago, before we even had radios. Maybe their signal passed by while we were still in caves. Another idea is that space is just too big. Even if there is life far away, their signals may take too long to get here, and our signals may take too long to get there. It's like two people shouting across a giant ocean. The voices never meet. Some scientists think we might not know what to listen for. Maybe other life forms don't use radios like we do. Maybe they send messages in ways we don't understand yet. Maybe their hello sounds like noise to us. Or maybe they don't want to talk at all. And here's another thought. What if we are the first? What if the universe is just getting started with smart life? Maybe Earth is one of the first worlds to wake up and ask questions. Maybe we are not late to the party. Maybe we are early. The Great Silence can feel lonely. But it also reminds us of how big the universe is. We do not know all the answers. We are still just beginning to look. What should we do? Some say we should send out more messages. Try harder to speak. Tell space we are here. Others say we should be careful. If we speak too loudly, who will hear us? And will they be friendly? In the end, the Great Silence is not just about aliens. It is also about us. It makes us think about life, time, and our place in space. It makes us wonder what future we will build, and if someone, somewhere is waiting for us to grow and listen better. Maybe one day the silence will break. Maybe one night a signal will come. Maybe the stars will finally speak back. Until then, we watch, we wait, and we listen. Memory, why we forget or misremember. Reality. Memory is how we hold on to the past. It helps us remember faces, names, places, and moments. It tells us who we are. Without memory, we would feel lost in time. But memory is not perfect. Sometimes we forget things, we lose little pieces of the past. We may forget where we left our keys or what we had for breakfast. Other times, we remember something, but it's wrong. We remember a word, a face, or an event in a way that didn't really happen. This is called a false memory. So why does this happen? Our brain is not like a camera. It doesn't record everything. It works more like a painter. It sees, hears, and feels things. Then it puts them together into a picture. Sometimes the picture is clear, but sometimes the brain adds or leaves out things without us knowing. When we experience something, the brain stores it in parts. One part remembers the sound, another part remembers the smell, another stores the feelings. When we try to recall the memory, the brain puts the pieces back together. But if a piece is missing or changed, the memory becomes a little different. It may still feel true, even if it's not. Our mood can change memory too. If we were sad during a moment, we might remember it as worse than it was. If we were happy, we might forget the bad parts. Our feelings colour the way we remember. Stories we hear can also shape our memories. If someone tells us a story again and again, we might start to believe we were there too. Over time, it becomes hard to tell what is real and what we only heard. The mind fills in the blanks. Sleep plays a big part in memory. While we sleep, the brain works in the background, sorting and saving what we learned. If we don't sleep well, those memories may not stay. That's why rest is important, especially when learning new things. Distraction is another reason we forget. If our mind is busy, we may not notice small things. Later, when we try to remember, it's just not there. It's not because the brain is broken, it's because it never saved the memory in the first place. Stress also affects memory. When we're scared or nervous, the brain focuses on danger. It saves the big picture but forgets the details. This is why people often say they don't remember much during a hard or scary time. Some memories fade because we don't use them. The brain lets go of things it thinks we no longer need. It's like clearing space for new thoughts. This is normal and healthy, but it can be frustrating when we try to recall something old, and then there are false memories, things we are sure happened, but didn't. These can come from dreams, stories, or even photos. The brain mixes them with real events. We trust our memory, but sometimes it tricks us. This isn't a sign of weakness. Everyone's memory works like this. Even people with strong minds can forget or misremember. In fact, this shows how creative and flexible our brain is. It tries to make sense of the world, even if that means changing a few facts. Still, we can take steps to improve memory. One way is to repeat things. Saying something out loud or writing it down helps the brain remember. Another way is to link new ideas with things we already know. This gives the brain a stronger path to follow. Also, slowing down helps. When we pay close attention, we're more likely to remember. Being present in the moment gives our brain a better chance to hold on. Memory is not just about facts, it's about meaning. What we care about, what we feel, and what matters to us. These are the things we tend to remember best. In the end, memory is not perfect, but it is powerful. It helps us learn, grow, and connect. It tells us stories about who we were and shows us who we might become. And even if we forget a few things along the way, that's part of what makes us human. We remember, we forget, and we keep moving forward. The immortal jellyfish, a creature that rewinds its age. In the deep parts of the sea, there lives a small creature with a big secret. This creature is called the immortal jellyfish. It may look simple, but it can do something no other animal on Earth can do. When it gets old or hurt, it can make itself young again. Yes, you heard that right. It can rewind its age. It can turn back time inside its own body. Most living things grow old, they live, they age, and then they die. But this jellyfish does something different. When life becomes too hard, it begins a special process. Instead of dying, it starts over. It changes its body, going from old to young, like a butterfly turning back into a caterpillar. This amazing power is called transdifferentiation. That's a big word, but the idea is simple. The jellyfish changes its cells into different types. Skin cells can become muscle cells. Nerve cells can become other body parts. It's like a puzzle breaking apart and putting itself back together in a new shape. At first, the jellyfish lives like most others. It floats in the ocean, eats tiny food, and grows. When it is hurt or in danger, or even if it grows too old, something inside it changes. It curls up into a little ball and sinks. Then it starts to build itself all over again from the beginning. It goes back to a stage called a polyp. This is the first part of a jellyfish's life, like a baby stage. From there, it grows again into a full jellyfish. It becomes new again, And it can do this not just once, but over and over. This is why some people call it immortal. But that doesn't mean it can never die. If another animal eats it, or if it gets badly injured, it can still be gone forever. But if nothing like that happens, it may keep starting over, again and again, for a very long time. The jellyfish itself is very small. It's about the size of a fingernail. You wouldn't even notice it swimming past. It's clear, with a soft bell-shaped body and little tentacles, but inside its body holds one of the strangest powers in nature. Scientists were shocked when they found out what this jellyfish could do. They had never seen anything like it. Since then, they have been studying it closely. They hope that learning how it changes its body might help people someday too. If we can understand how it rewinds its age, maybe we can use that knowledge to help heal wounds, fight sickness, or slow down aging in humans. That dream is still far away, Daz, but the jellyfish gives us a clue. The jellyfish's full name is Turritopsis dohrnii. It was first found in the warm waters near Italy, but now it can be seen in many oceans around the world. It's hard to find because it is so tiny and soft, but it's out there, quietly doing its strange trick. Unlike many other sea animals, it doesn't care much about sunlight or coral. It just drifts along, living its life, ready to restart whenever needed. It's like it carries its own time machine inside. People often think of jellyfish as simple creatures, but this one has surprised the world. It shows us that even the smallest life forms can have the biggest secrets. Of course, this power brings up deep questions. What would it mean if humans could rewind time inside their bodies? Would we live forever? Would we want to? The immortal jellyfish doesn't ask these questions. It just lives the way nature made it. But for us, it opens the door to big thoughts about age, life, and change. In a way, the jellyfish reminds us that life is not always a straight path. Sometimes it's a circle, sometimes it's a loop, and sometimes it's a dance between old and new. In the dark ocean, this tiny creature floats with quiet power. It may be small, but it has something no human has. A chance to begin again, not just once, but many times. We may never be able to live like the immortal jellyfish, but we can still learn from it. We can learn that nature is full of surprises, that change is possible, that even when things seem to end, they may just be beginning again, and that in the great sea of life, even the smallest creature can hold the deepest wonder. The double-slit experiment, when reality changes. Based on observation. Imagine you are throwing small balls at a wall with two open doors. Behind that wall is another screen that catches the balls. You throw them, and they pass through one of the two doors and leave a mark on the screen behind. You expect to see two lines where the balls hit the screen, one for each door. Now, let's replace the balls with light. You shine light at the two open doors, and you expect to see the same thing, two bright lines. But what you actually see is many light and dark lines, like a pattern. This is called an interference pattern. It's something that happens when waves meet each other. It's what you'd see if you used water waves instead of balls. This was the start of the double-slit experiment, first done a long time ago. It showed something strange. Light behaves like a wave, but later, scientists tried the same thing with very small bits of matter, like electrons. These are not waves. They're tiny bits of stuff. Still, they made the same strange pattern. Even when only one electron was sent at a time, it still made a wave-like pattern over time. This made no sense. How can something act like a particle, a small bit of matter, and also like a wave? It was one of the first clues that the world of tiny things, called quantum physics, follows very different rules. Now here's where things get even stranger. When scientists tried to watch which door the electron went through, something changed. The pattern on the screen stopped looking like a wave. It now looked like two straight lines, just like the balls at the start. Just by looking, the wave behavior disappeared. It's as if the electron knew it was being watched, and because of that, it acted like a regular bit of matter instead of a wave. When it was not being watched, it acted like a wave and went through both doors at once. When it was watched, it picked one door and acted like a small object. This was shocking. It suggested that the way something behaves can change based on whether someone is watching. The act of observing changes the outcome. This led to big questions. Does the universe only choose what happens when someone looks? Is reality not fully real until it is measured or seen? Some people said the electron was in a state of maybe. It could go through one door, the other, or both, until someone looked. Only when it is watched does it make a choice. This idea is called superposition. It's like flipping a coin, but the coin is both heads and tails at the same time, until you peak. Some people even asked, if observation can change what is real, what does that mean for the rest of the universe? Are things only real when we look at them? Do we play a bigger role in reality than we thought? Not everyone agrees on what this experiment really means. Some say it's just how measurement works at the tiny scale. Others say it points to something deeper, maybe even to the idea that many different versions of reality exist at once and we only see one of them. The double-slit experiment is still talked about today. It's simple, but it shows one of the biggest mysteries in science, that the world may be different when we are not looking. Even though we still do not fully understand why this happens, it has changed how we think about nature. It helped lead to the field of quantum physics, which now powers things like lasers, computers, and maybe someday teleportation or quantum travel. It reminds us that the world is not always what it seems. Even something as small as a single electron can act in ways that break the rules we thought we knew, and just by looking we may change what is real. So next time you look up at the stars or hold something small in your hand, remember this. Reality might be stranger than we can see, and the act of seeing might be more powerful than we ever thought. Quantum entanglement. Spooky action at a distance. Imagine you have two coins, you flip them at the same time, one lands on heads and the other on tails. Now imagine something strange. No matter how far apart the two coins are, flipping one still tells you what the other will show. Even if one coin is on the moon and the other is on Earth, they still stay linked. This is kind of what happens in something called quantum entanglement. Quantum entanglement is one of the strangest parts of quantum physics, the science that looks at very small things like atoms and tiny particles. When two particles become entangled, it means they're connected in a special way. They are not just close to each other, they are tied together by the laws of nature. Once these two particles are entangled, whatever happens to one instantly affects the other, even if they are very far apart. It's like they are still touching even when they are not. Albert Einstein, one of the most famous scientists ever, didn't like this idea. He called it spooky action at a distance. He thought nothing could travel faster than light, not even information. So how could one particle know what happened to the other without any signal being sent? Let's try to understand it more clearly. Imagine you have two gloves, one left and one right. You put each glove into a box and send one box to a friend far away. When your friend opens the box and sees a left glove, they know you have the right glove without needing to look, but that's just common sense. The gloves were already left and right before the boxes were opened. But in the quantum world, it's different. With entangled particles, it's as if the gloves don't pick left or right until someone opens the paw. And when one is opened and becomes left, the other instantly becomes right, no matter how far away. This sounds impossible, yet experiments show it happens again and again. When two particles are entangled, they can be tested on opposite sides of the world. Still, they act as if they are linked. One example is with the particles called photons, tiny bits of light. Scientists can create two photons that are entangled. They send them in different directions. When they measure one, they instantly know something about the other, even before they check it. And the results are not random. They follow a pattern that shows they are truly connected. Some people wonder if this means faster than light communication is possible. Could we use entanglement to send messages across space instantly? Sadly, no. Even though the particles are connected, we can't control what result we get when we measure them. So we can't use it to send a message. It's more like opening two boxes and finding they always match, but you never know what you'll get until you open the box. Still, this strange connection is real, and even though it feels like magic, it's part of how nature works. Today, quantum entanglement is not just a fun idea, it's being used in real science. People are working on quantum computers, machines that use tiny particles to do very fast thinking. These machines may use entanglement to share information in a way that regular computers cannot. There is also quantum communication. Some people are working on ways to send information that cannot be hacked. If anyone tries to look at the message, the particles would change, and we'd know right away. This could make future communication much safer. Entanglement also helps us understand the universe better. It shows that things we thought were separate may be more connected than we believed. The space between things is not empty. There might be strange links tying it all together. In a way, quantum entanglement teaches us that our world is not always local. What happens here might affect something over there, and what seems like space between two things might not be space at all. It's a hard idea to understand fully. Even scientists are still learning more about it. But one thing is clear. The universe is not only stranger than we thought, it's stranger than we can think. So the next time you hear the word entanglement, remember this. Somewhere out there, two tiny pieces of the universe may still be dancing together, no matter how far apart they are, and that dance might just hold the key to understanding everything. The pyramids, more than just tombs. When people think of Egypt, they often picture the pyramids. These huge stone buildings stand tall in the desert like giants from another time. Most people believe the pyramids were made to hold the bodies of kings called pharaohs. But some ask, could the pyramids be more than just tombs? The Great Pyramid of Giza is the most famous. It has stood for a very long time. It was built with large stone blocks, stacked one on top of the other, in a perfect shape. The size, shape, and how it was made still surprise many people today. The question is, how did people so long ago build something so big without modern machines? Some think the answer is simple. They say the workers were skilled and they used ramps, ropes, and time. Others think there's more to the story. The way the pyramid's built is too perfect, they say. The sides are lined up almost exactly with the directions of north, south, east, and west. That makes some people wonder, was this just a tomb or did it have another use? One idea is that the pyramid was also a kind of map. Some believe its shape and position match the stars in the sky, especially a group of stars called Orion's belt. These stars were important to the ancient people of Egypt. They believed the souls of dead kings would rise to the sky and live among the stars. So maybe the pyramid helped guide the soul to the heavens. Another idea is that the pyramid could have been used for energy, not like power lines or machines today, but maybe in a natural way. Some believe the shape of the pyramid, along with what's inside it, was meant to focus energy from the earth or the sky. This is not proven, but it shows how much mystery still surrounds the pyramid. There are also tunnels and rooms inside the Great Pyramid. Some are well known, but others are still hidden. New tools like special scanners have found spaces inside the pyramid that no one has entered. What is in those spaces? We don't know yet. Maybe they hold secrets. Maybe they are just part of the design, but they make people wonder. It's also strange that no clear writings have been found inside the Great Pyramid. Many tombs in Egypt are full of pictures and writing. These show the story of the person buried there. But the Great Pyramid is mostly empty of such things. That makes it hard to be sure who it was built for or why. Was it really a tomb or something more? Some think the pyramid may have been used as a place of learning. Maybe it was built to teach others about the stars, the earth, or the gods. Maybe people came to the pyramid for answers, not just to bury the dead. Some even think it could have been used to test the mind, like a puzzle full of hidden meanings. Of course, there are also wild ideas. Some say aliens helped build the pyramid. Others think it came from a lost city or was made by people with powers we don't understand. These ideas are not taken seriously by most experts, but they show how deep the mystery goes. Even if we stay with what we know, the pyramid is still full of wonder. It was made with simple tools by many hands with great care. It was built not just for the living, but for the dead, and maybe for something greater. It speaks of a time when people looked at the stars and saw more than just light. They saw meaning, they saw a path. So are the pyramids more than just tombs? Maybe. Or maybe the fact that we still ask the question is part of the answer. They were built to last, to make us wonder, to hold the past and point to the sky. In the end, the pyramids remind us that even in silence, stone can speak. It speaks of a people who wanted to reach higher, of builders who worked with heart and hands, and of questions that have no easy answer. Maybe that's the true power of the pyramids, not just in how they were made, but in how they still make us think. Time itself, why it only moves forward. Or does it? We all live inside time. We wake up, eat, work, sleep, and grow older, all inside a flow that never stops. Time always moves forward. You can't go back to yesterday. You can't jump ahead to tomorrow. But why does time work this way? And is it possible that time doesn't move the way we think? Most people think of time like a river. It starts somewhere and it flows in one direction. You can't stop it. You can't turn it around. But the truth is, time is one of the biggest mysteries we face. Even scientists don't fully understand it. One reason time feels like it moves forward is because of change. A tree grows, a person ages, a cup falls and breaks. You can break a cup, but it won't put itself back together. This idea is known as the arrow of time. Things move from order to disorder, from full to broken, from young to old. That makes time feel like it only goes forward. This arrow of time is tied to something called energy. In the world around us, energy spreads out. Heat moves from hot to cold, ice melts, fires burn out. This change can't be undone, and that makes time feel like it flows in one way only. But not everything follows this rule. At the smallest level, in the world of tiny particles, things act very strange. Sometimes they don't seem to care about time at all. In fact, many of their actions can go forward or backward. It's like time doesn't matter to them. This has made many people wonder, is time just something we feel, but not something that truly exists? There's also the idea that time might not move at all. What if every moment, past, present, and future, already exists? What if time is like a book and we are just reading one page at a time? In this idea, time doesn't move. We do. We live one moment at a time, but the whole story is already there. Some people think time may not be the same for everyone. Time can move faster or slower depending on where you are or how fast you're moving. This was shown by a famous thinker who said that space and time are linked. If you move very fast, time can slow down for you. This is not just a theory. It has been tested. So time is not fixed. It can stretch and bend. But what about going back in time? Could we ever do that? Could we return to the past and change something? Many books and movies talk about time travel, but in real life it's not so simple. If you go back and change the past, what happens to the present? It creates strange puzzles that no one can fully solve. There are also people who believe the mind can feel time in different ways. Think about how time feels when you are happy or sad. When you're bored, it feels slow. When you're excited, it feels fast. This shows that time is not just a clock, it's something we feel inside. Others say time might even be an illusion. Maybe time is just a way our minds make sense of change. Maybe it's not a real thing at all, but something we've made up to understand life. Still, time has rules. We are born, we live, and we die. Time keeps moving. We can't stop it. We can't rewind it. But maybe, just maybe, the way we see time is only part of the truth. One day we might find out that time is more like space, something we can move through in any direction. Or we may find out that the arrow of time is not as strong as we thought. Until then, time will keep being one of life's biggest questions. So why does time only move forward? Maybe it's because that's how we see it. Or maybe that's just the way it works in our part of the universe. The more we learn, the more we see how little we really know. And maybe that's the mystery. Time is all around us. It touches everything. Yet we can't hold it, can't see it, and can't stop it. For now, we move forward, one moment at a time.